The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Spokane, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 38022. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your apparatus. First, let's start with some pictures on the exterior. We'll start first with a full view, focus in on the cab section. We'll move into the pump area and crosslay area, to the rear body section, around to the rear of the apparatus, moving on to the passenger side full view, looking at just the body section now, and then moving finally to the cab area. Just a general layout where things are at. Let's start first now with the front bumper area. First, on the face of the front bumper, you'll find on the officer side your electronic siren and PA speaker. Just inside that location, there are dual air horns and also a unit identifier number 1. As we move up onto the bumper extension, you'll find a swivel discharge on the officer side, and then also tubbed storage location for your hose load with Velcro straps. Moving to the center of the grille area, you'll find your mechanical siren. Moving out to the outer edge, you'll find the headlight structure housing on the outer edge a marker turn indicator light, headlights housing low and high beams located on the inside. Just above that, emergency warning lights forward facing. Just above the Spokane is where you'll find your 2 windshield wipers, and then on the outside edge, your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. Moving up to the brow of the apparatus, there are 5 identification clearance lights, 2 slightly angled forward-facing floodlights, and your emergency warning light bar. Located in the center is your opticom. Let's take a quick look at the bumper here on a different angle, and then we'll take a look into the front hose storage location. Moving up to the top to the forward-facing slightly angled floodlights, and then we'll move around now to the driver's side of the cab. We're going to go ahead and go inside the cab area, but first let's start with the door panel, where you'll find at the very top section your door lock electric and also electric windows. Manual door lock located on the right next to the latch area. And as we move to the very bottom, all of our color-coded and labeled informational placards are located here. Moving now to the base of the seat area. As we move down to the floor, you'll find this yellow placard. On that placard is the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, the VIN number, all of your components, fluid capacity for those components, and also fluid type. Moving now to the floorboard is where you'll find a foot pedal. This controls the air horn and then also mechanical siren. Moving up to the left knee of the operator, this is where you'll find your master battery switch. It's a quarter turn, it's the red switch. Located also are some switches for regen inhibit, ABS diagnostics, diagnostic ports for engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic port, and display. Just below that, you'll find the DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and a tech module. Moving just up from that, you'll find an indicator for stationary OK to pump and roll, water pump, foam system, and mirror heat. Moving further up to the dash, 4-way flashers on the far left, your start and ignition switch. Just inside that location, EM, which stands for Emergency Master, engage and disengage all emergency lights, headlight, and a panel switch to brighten lights within preview of the driver. To the opposite side, the high idle indicator and switch for engaging high idle. On your gauges, you'll find on the left your transmission oil, def level, and water temp. On the right, you'll find volts, fuel, front air, rear air, tachometer, and speedometer are located in the center. Above that, you're going to find diagnostic information displays in the tally light, and then also just below that into the text area in the very bottom of the tachometer and speedometer. Let's take a quick look just to the right area for a general view. We'll start first with the yellow diamond, which is your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. These are the rear parking brakes. Also spring brake. Just to the right, you'll find your speaker for your backup camera with volume control. Command zone located here, tremendous amount of information. It is a touchscreen and it's available with information in your owner's manual. Some switches here for the engine brake on and off, settings for low, medium, and high, a diff lock activated indicator, off-road traction switch. Moving down, you'll find the window controls for the driver, passenger, driver cab, and also passenger cab, a load manager, and siren brake. Informational note to pump in neutral, Allison transmission pad, digital readout push button. Moving further to the right, you'll find the flat and convex mirror controls. These are both for the left and right mirror, and then also the push to talk with volume control for your David Clark headset. Also, you'll find 12-volt access via USB. There are two located here, and also climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. We're overhead in the driver's seat. I'd like to point out the yellow placard indicating the height of the vehicle, 10 feet 0 inches. Length of the vehicle, 31 feet. Gross vehicle weight rating, 46,500. Also, we have emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, upper rear warning, opticom, and white lights. When any of these switches have been activated, the light will illuminate, similar to this in perimeter lighting. You'll also find driver alley, front flood, perimeter lights, passenger alley, driver scene, rear scene, electronic siren, and passenger scene switches. Let's move further to the right in the same vertical plane, overhead of the driver's seat, where you'll find emergency lights, low intensity, and then also blue lights. In the center, you'll find your seatbelt information, red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted, green they're in the seat and belted. On the roof level, you'll find a do not move your apparatus light when flashing. It's indicating you have a compartment or door open. Also, this is the same location where your seatbelt information center is located. Just a quick view to the rear, there are two forward-facing seats. This is a clean cab. Moving now to the forward position, you'll find a converter. Moving out to the exterior, you'll find Alcoa wheel, Goodyear tire. Moving now just to the rear of that, we'll go into the rear section of the cab next. First, let's start with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information. As we move inside to a general view overhead, you'll find push on and off red or white lens lights. Also, you'll find additional storage directly behind both officer and driver seat. Those compartments do have additional lighting. As we move to the driver's side, you have an additional lighting next to the seats. There is also a fold-down seat located on the passenger side. Two outlets here for your David Clark headset system. And then also an additional fold-down seat located once again on the passenger side. As we move forward to this location, this is on the passenger side, rear of the officer seat. We're visualing now here, rear of the driver's seat, where you'll find a Shoreline outlet plug. When plugged into Shoreline power, this outlet becomes active. Let's go ahead and start with the exterior. At the very top of the pump panel area, you have a D-handled compartment which gains you access into this space, dry deck material, both accessible from both passenger and driver side. Netting here covers your hose load. We do have two outlets located here, first crosslay 1 and crosslay 2. They are both foam capable. We do have a warning placard also indicating warning. Entanglement hazard. Because of those lines coming from that area, there is the possibility of entanglement. Also, this is the release mechanism to release the speed lay. Moving further down to the notch area where your pump panel is located on the driver's side, let's cover a few of those items. First, in the upper left, you have a reel rewind switch. There are two 2.5-inch discharges locally controlled via ball valve located on this side. Also, a warning placard indicating pressure hazard warning. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. The American flag Eagle Pierce logo is your large diameter pump inlet, and in the upper right, this is the auxiliary foam function inlet and also strainer. As we move down, you'll find a direct tank fill with a garden connection, and then also all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains across the bottom. As we move just to the right, you'll find the driver's side auxiliary inlet. It's a 2.5-inch female locally controlled ball valve. Close up here of the drains. As we move down to the very bottom, you do have a flip outboard step. It is tied to the do not move your apparatus. As we move into the pump panel area, let's start at the very top section. We'll start from the left and move to the right. At the very bottom, minimum operation maintenance schedule. We'll go over that in a few moments. Also, the green module is the foam A tank. Also directly above is an OK to pump indicator light. Master intake gauge and master discharge gauge are in the gray area with test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. To the right, PCM fault, and then also at the very bottom, pump overheat. We do have all of our color-coded and labeled discharges. Along to the very right, this is your Pierce pressure throttle governor with a water level indicator embedded in the device. Let's move further down on the pump panel. We'll start on the left with your foam system. This is the Husky 12 foam system specifications and instruction placard. Moving to the right, this is the control module for that foam system. Fire pump primer, push to prime, air prime for at least best practices 1000 RPMs. Moving further right, recirculating line. This is a twist, not a pull. And then also the passenger rear discharge. As we move down to the lower left, you'll find the tank fill and tank to pump. You'll also find the deluge discharge located in the center. There are two electric valves located on the pump panel. These control passenger side large diameter and 2.5 inch. Let's go ahead and move down to the next section on the pump panel. We'll start on the left with all of our drains and then color-coded and labeled drains at the very bottom section. Inside the pan door is where you'll find your foam operation fill handle. It's located here. And below that, you'll find your manual pump shift override. It is a protected switch with the light indicating that it's been activated. We do have some additional switches here and also an air horn switch. Also, the minimum operation maintenance schedule for your pump for 150, 200, and 250 psi. On the left is the associated GPM for that test pressure. On the right is the associated RPM for that test pressure. This is a governed speed while in pump mode of 2,130 RPM. You also have an onboard air compressor when plugged into shoreline power. This will activate maintaining brake air pressure. We do have some pull-out compartments located here. The release mechanism for those on the right-hand side, they will lock into position. As we look into the center compartment, adjustable shelf, LED lighting on the passenger and driver side. To the forward axle, SCBA bottle storage and oxygen bottle storage. Moving down to the rear axle, you'll find a Goodyear tire and Alcoa wheel. As we move just to the right of this location and up, you'll find the SCBA bottle storage for 1 bottle, fill location for your DEF, which is the blue cap, 4.5 gallons, and then also your ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. It's the silver cap. Let's go ahead and move around to the rear compartment next, where you'll find adjustable shelves, and then also your wheel chocks, both front and rear of the rear axle. As we move in, you'll find an adjustable pull-out shelf. The release mechanism is located on the right-hand side, and LED lighting. All of our compartments are open. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus next. We do have our ladder deployed. And then we'll move just upward of this location. Additional long-handled tool storage. This is on the driver's side. We do have hose bed light and also rear scene light cupped switches. Shoreline inlet, and also air auto eject. Moving now to the rear, just below the hose bed is where you're going to find the 2 rear discharges. Also, I'd like to point out some warning placard information. Entanglement hazard, because the line's coming from aloft, there is the possibility of entanglement. Also, as we move down, you'll find a fall injury. When climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle. Also a pressure warning hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. And then to the right, you'll find a fall hazard. Should not be riding on the apparatus while it's in motion. And in the recessed area is your backup camera. Below that area, you do have a rear compartment, adjustable shelf located in the center area. To the right upper portion is where you'll find your 10-foot folding ladder, and then also additional pike poles. Down at the bottom, 24-foot extension, 14-foot roof. And as we move around, you'll also find the rear floodlight switch. Moving now to the passenger side. Adjustable pull-out tray located in the lower third. Release is located on the right-hand side. Let's move forward to this location where you'll find a tool board located. D-handle gains you access. There is a locking mechanism on the hinge side to open and release. Lift the latch section on the hinge side. Also, pegboard located on both right and left side and also rear. SCBA bottle storage with retaining straps for 3 bottles. I would like to point out Goodyear tires and Alcoa wheels. Just to the forward section of this is your exhaust. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. Be cautious when you're in regen operations. To the forward section, SCBA bottle storage and also an oxygen bottle storage location. Moving forward to this location, additional storage location, adjustable shelving, LED lighting, dry deck material. Moving forward to this, same configuration as you have on the driver's side as you will on the passenger side. Upper portion, D-handle gains you access into the transverse compartment. Just below that is where you'll find your crosslays. And then also, this is the same crosslay 1, crosslay 2. They're also both foam capable. As we move down to the notch panel here for the passenger side pump panel, let's start in the upper left-hand corner. This is going to be your strainer located in the upper top. Also a warning placard indicating fall injury. When climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle. Just to the right, you'll find your large diameter pump inlet. Moving further to the right, you'll also find a reel rewind located in the upper right-hand side. I'd also like to point out the cab lift is located here. There are instructions for its operation for raise and lower. We also have some danger placard information because of the movement of the cab. As we move down, we do have a 2.5-inch discharge. This is controlled electronically, so therefore requirements are an override. This is operated by a tool. Let's move downward and slightly to the left where you'll find the 2.5-inch locally controlled female inlet. This is the passenger side auxiliary inlet. Also a foam drain and also an electric valve controlling your large diameter discharge with override. As we move to the bottom section under the running board is where you'll find your front discharge. Also, we do have a flip-out step located on this side, and it is tied to the do not move your apparatus. Let's move forward inside the cab area. First, let's start with the door panel. Affixed to the panel, safety and warning placard information, combination door lock and latch and window control. As we move inside at the roof level, you'll find your David Clark headset system, as we previously mentioned, push on and off red and white lens lights. You'll also find access here for your daily checks for oil and transmission. Lift and turn latch gains you access into the rear portion of the engine. As we move around, we have 2 forward-facing seats and then also a fold-down seat. On the exterior inside this location, lift and turn latch will gain you access into this space where you'll find a filter and then also a hidden door unlock switch. Moving downward, Alcoa wheel and Goodyear tire. As we move inside the cab area into the officer space, once again affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, combination door lock, latch, electric window control, and a grab handle. Let's go ahead and move to the floor area where you'll find an electronic siren and mechanical siren activation foot pedals. Also, your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system. This is the airbag located in the front bolster. Also to the right on the A pillar is where you'll find your windshield wiper fill. Let's go ahead and look just to the left where you'll find your vehicle data recorder, an additional parking brake, siren brake, and David Clark headset system. Overhead, you'll find an AM/FM weather band radio. Moving just to the left of this location, we do have pump pressure, water tank level, and foam tank level indicators. Full view of your apparatus with all compartments open. Let's go ahead and cover the roof section next. Let's go to the cab. First, we'll start with the cab section. This is a non-walking surface, and that's why we have these additional placards indicating there is a warning. As we move into the dunnage area, you'll find your booster line, master stream, and then also location where your hydraulic reservoir is located. On the reel is where you'll find a free tension spool and then also a manual rewind where you can insert the tool. Moving just to the right is where you'll find your Husky foam system reservoir. There is a visual sight gauge located in the sight glass where the arrow is indicating. Master stream located here. Moving now to the rear portion where you'll find your hose storage. Before we get to that, let's take a look in the dunnage where you'll find your foam tank A fill location. Warning placard indicating do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. Also top fill for your water tank. As we move now to the hose bed area, there are 5 hose bed dividers located here. They are movable. As we move now to the passenger and driver side, You do have hatch compartments located here, LED lighting, and dry deck material located inside each of those. General view here of the top section, hatch area. Let's go ahead and take a look at the chassis with the cab tilted. First, let's start just underneath in the front area. These are the tow hooks for physically towing your vehicle. As we move down, this is the front steering. As we move to the engine area, you'll find located on the frame rail, this is when your cab has been fully tilted. Place this bar into its place. Do not lower the cab onto this bar. Maintain equal pressure on both left and right cylinder when the cab is tilted. Moving now, you have a Cummins X12. This is also location for your power steering fluid, TAC4 independent front suspension. Moving now just downward of this location, this is where your batteries are located. Underneath the battery box is where you'll find the negative and positive jumper stud. And then also the cab fill reservoir. There'll be no additional audio from this point on. Moving now to the pump area, this is the location where you'll find your pump fluid check. Congratulations, Spokane, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 38022. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.